Hey everyone, Jay Cottrell here. It's Monday and it's time for another edition of Real Estate Talk with Jay, where I go over topics that matter in our local real estate market here. So, two things I'm going to go over. First thing is going to be a real quick look. I'm talking about like 30-second overview of where the weekly stats are going. But then I really want to get into there's a lot of talk in the media and even on local social media about buyer's market, seller's market. Are we finally headed towards a buyer's market and getting out of this deep seller's market that we've been in? So I want to quickly just kind of go over to you what that is and how we as real estate agents define those things. Also, what indicators we look at to see what market we're in. So stay tuned. It's going to be a good video. What do you say we go ahead and get started? All right. So first, as I promised, a real quick summary of where the weekly data is looking at. As you can see, our pending sales, I'd like to frame it another way, as sales activity has flatlined, which actually it's moved it a little bit lower than it's been in the previous weeks. And at that same time, the pace of new homes coming on the market has also flatlined, but that's at a pretty decent pace, a historically normal pace. So with those two things happening, no surprise that decreased sales activity, but basically the same number of new homes coming on the market, our inventory has actually increased over that same time period. And because even though the sales activity is slower and our inventory has gone up, we still have low inventory. We're still in a seller's market, sitting at just above 2.5 months, just below 2.5 months of inventory, which is what I'm going to explain what all that means next, which is why, as you can see, our prices have continued their slow roll upwards. Now let's take a look at defining how do we look at a seller's market and a buyer's market. All right, so let's define a seller's market, or sorry, a buyer's market first. Because actually, when I started in real estate over a decade ago, that's actually where we were. We had almost 14 months of inventory on the market. I'll explain what that number that I just talked about means here in a second. But a buyer's market is, to put it in simple economic terms, when there is more supply than there are buyers out looking. So buyers basically have their choice. They have many homes to choose from. They can pick which ones they like. They can make offers and usually negotiate on the price a little bit to get some terms that are favorable to them. So a buyer's market is favorable to buyers because there is an oversupply of homes compared to the amount of demand that there are for those homes. Now, where we sit currently is in a seller's market, and it's the opposite. That's when there is a over demand for homes and an under supply. So there's more demand for homes than we have available for those buyers to purchase, which means buyers have very little negotiating power because they just honestly don't have options. We're getting more options, but that's basically the in the most basic terms what a buyer's market is. And what a seller's market is. Now, this next little graph I want to show you looks at how we as real estate agents take a quick look at the market. Now, this isn't everything that defines a buyer's or seller's market for us, but it's kind of a quick at a glance thing that lets us know whether we need to take a little bit more deeper dive into the data. And that is what we call the absorption rate. And that is measured in months. So when you hear me talk about months of inventory, I'm citing the current absorption rate. What an absorption rate is if you look at the current number of homes for sale on the market and divide that by the average sales per month, that gives you basically a rate that it would take to absorb that amount of homes that are currently for sale. So, and it's sort of a theoretical number because that would basically mean that if we put no more homes on the market today, based on the current sales pace, it would take if we sold 500 a month and there was 1,000 homes on the market, then we should sell out of homes in 2 months. It would take 2 months to absorb that 1,000 homes if the current sales pace stayed steady. So I call that a theoretical number because neither one of those stays steady. It's always a little bit fluid. So again, looking at this line, 5 to 7 months is what we consider a balanced market. That means that supply and demand are balanced. The buyers and the homes for sale are somewhat balanced. As we start getting less than 5 months, then that becomes a seller's market. And again, that means that we have an undersupply of homes and kind of either a normal or an oversupply of buyers out looking. The other side of that, if we go longer than 7 months, then we're looking at sellers or buyer's market territory. Sorry, I'm confusing my own wording. And that means that we have an oversupply of homes relative to the amount of buyers out looking. So again, buyer's market looks at 7 months or more of inventory. A seller's market looks at 5 months of or less. And when I said when I started out, we were in a deep buyer's market, it's because we were over at 14 months of inventory, more than even a year. And during, I think it was 2021 or 2022, can't remember exactly, but I think 2021, as an entire region, we were down below 1 month of inventory. And in some pockets, like in Johnson City, we were measuring inventory in days. We had 12 to 14 days of inventory on the market, which was basically quickly approaching zero. So it's deep seller's market territory. And so, as we've been trying to pull out of that, it's really hard. It's really easy to decrease inventory. It's really hard to bring up inventory, especially when we got that close to zero. Getting back to 5 to 6 months of inventory, it's a lot of work. Anyways, don't want to get into that, but just wanted to give you those two definitions. So again, the lower the number of months, the more we're moving towards the seller's territory. The higher number of months of inventory, that's buyer's market territory. And those are simple, just indicators of supply versus demand. So hope that I didn't confuse you. Hope that that makes sense for you. If it doesn't make sense, please reach out. I'll be glad to clarify, either shoot another video, remake the video, or just talk to you individually to try to help you understand this. But I thought since they're talking a lot about um, leaving a seller's market, maybe inching closer to a buyer's market in the media right now, I thought it would be helpful to define those for you so that you know more about what they're talking about and what those terms actually mean for those of us in the real estate business. So again, hope you find that helpful. That's it for this week. We'll see you next week. I'm Jay Cottrell with LPT Realty here in the Tri-Cities.